Hi, and welcome to this Colab, where we will go through the development environment for this course. First of all, you can see that you're in Colab by looking at the top left part of the screen right here. Colab is an interactive Python notebook which runs in Google Cloud. That means you'll be able to do all the coding right here in your browser without needing to install anything on your computer. If you're familiar with Jupyter, you can view Colab as being a Jupyter notebook server hosted in the Google Cloud. Let's start by doing some Python. It's really easy. First we print out hello world. And in this cell you will learn how to create a function called hello world xy that takes two parameters, x and y. You will also see how to create if statements, else if statements, and else statements. Then we will call this function from a loop right here. Finally, you can see how we print strings with variables here using the format statement and also here for multiple variables. Let's execute this code block. Alright, those are the results. Let's also insert a new code block and print the result of hello world xy with the argument 1 and 2. And then we execute it. Let's look at some more iteration statements. Here we iterate over the numbers 0 and 1. In fact, the range with the argument 2 creates a list containing the numbers 0 and 1, and then we iterate over them. This is exactly as above, but rather than using the range statements, we create a list directly. You use the brackets to create a list. This one contains the elements 0 and 1. And finally, we can also use while. So here we initialize I to 0, while I is less than 2, we print it and then increment the number. Let's execute this cell. Python also has support for break statement. So here we create an infinite loop, but we break immediately during the first iteration. Let's execute this. Python has lists built into the language, but when doing machine learning we often use a library called NumPy, which is specialized to do scientific computing. First of all, we import NumPy. All libraries that we use in Python must be imported in this way. Then we create an array with the elements hello and world. Observe that we use the Python syntax brackets to create the list that goes into the array call. Here we append the element exclamation mark to the array. And then we print all elements of the array. We can also print each element individually using this syntax. And finally, here we print each element together with its index using the enumerate function. Let's execute that. So we can see the entire array printed out, or each of the elements printed out, or each of the elements together with their indexes printed out. Let's show some basic stuff you can do with arrays. For example, here we're creating array B containing the elements 0, 1, 4, 3, 2. We can take the max out of this array by using the mp.max function. We can take the average by using the mp.average, and the maximum index by using the mp.argmax. Also, you can use the function type to print the type of any element. Here, we create a 3 by 3 dimensional array with random numbers. So we use the mp.random.rand and the argument 3, 3, and we print the results. So as you can see, this is a 3 by 3 dimensional array. Given a variable, you can always print its dimension using the .shape member. So you can see the size of array A is 3, hello, world, and exclamation mark. The size of B is this array right here, which is 5 elements. And then finally, the shape of 3 is a 3 by 3. So that's everything you need to know about Python to get started with the course. Let's now look at some specifics in Colab. Colab is a virtual machine, and you can do shell commands directly by prefixing them with the exclamation mark. We can even install Python packages using the pip command. Here we try to install NumPy. As you can see, since NumPy is already installed, we get this message. Now it's time for an exercise. Create a code cell underneath this text cell and add the code to list the path of the current directory, then go to the root of the file system and list its content. Alright, here's the answer. We add a new code cell by clicking plus here. We do list the current directory here. We go to slash and then we do ls-l. Colab is completely free of charge. You can even use GPUs, which I strongly suggest when you open your notebooks in this course. To use GPUs, go up to the Runtime menu, select the Change Runtime option, and then select as Hardware Accelerator GPU. That's it. Now you're ready to use GPUs. Some other notes on Colab. All the cells that we are creating here are executed in cell order. You can edit and re-execute cells if you want. For example, like this. We just added a Python statement at the end of this cell. Sometimes when you add things, you can get unintended consequences. Then you can actually reset the Python and the Colab environment. To reset the Python shell, go to Runtime, Restart, Runtime. A complete reset of the entire Colab virtual machine is achieved by selecting Runtime, Restart all runtimes. If you have a problem and you don't know how to get out of it, this is a good option. You can also clear all the output in the Colab by doing Edit, Clear All Outputs. As you can see, the output from our statement here was cleared. The Colabs in this course are loaded from GitHub. You can save your own copies of the Colabs in your Google Drive account. Go to File, Save Copy in Drive. You can then go to your Drive account and you will see that we have a Colab directory under which we have a copy of this Colab. If you want to learn more about Colab, check out this episode of Coding TensorFlow. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's it for this introduction. Let's get on with the course.